Welcome to Pokemon Masters Council. We're back with our fourth and final how to use guide for the treasure room Pokemon. We got TingLu today. Zero, what do you think about the deer, buddy?
We saved the best for last.
Boy.
That's the singles player in me talking right there, but for me personally, this is the one I actually like TingLu the most as far as like a design standpoint, and it was a Pokemon I always had my eye on when I was getting ready for VGC and Singles.
As usual, we want to give a big special shout out to all those new subscribers that have joined and the old ones alike. Trainers, masters, make sure you smash that big red subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up. Your boys over at the PMC really appreciate all the support. We're on that climb to 1,000 subscribers. Be part of the journey. And of course, hit that bell button to stay notified every time we put up a new how to use guide or battle video on the channel.
Leave a big like on this video if you've ever been knocked out by a TingLu fissure.
That's every single one of you. So, as usual, we're going to start off with the stats here, aren't we, buddy?
Yeah, we'll go top down. We'll talk about the stats, abilities, all of that good stuff. First and foremost, ground and dark typing. Justin, this is not a typing that is new to us in Pokemon.
No, this is the Crocodile, but this one's got a little bit different of a spread than Crocodile, a little bit different of a purpose. Big old fat deer. I like his I like the kind of big, like, cracked pot gourd, whatever kind of thing on his head. I really do like his body, how it's like the different like layers of like sediment. Yeah,
just like it looks like different layers of the Earth's crust.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I dig him. He's a cool deer, moose, elk. We call him the deer, but he's some sort of creature with antlers, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, dark and ground, pretty legit typing. What do you think?
Pretty legit typing, gives you a nice immunity to electric, which is super important in Pokemon. Obviously, you are completely immune, to psychic with the dark typing. So these treasure Pokemon have really put an end to the Psy spam dynamic in VGC. Sad to see it go. I know you're not sad to see it go. So you got some nice immunities here. You do have a decent amount of weaknesses that are pretty common. We got water, grass, ice, fighting, bug, and fairy. Those are things you don't necessarily want to be weak to, but we've got Terra, right?
But there's Terra, exactly. And then on top of that, we have the fourth and final Ruin ability, Zero.
Yes, we have Vessel of Ruin ability. This lowers the special attack of all Pokemon on the field except itself and other TingLu, because TingLu is really busting people's chops with his base 55 special attack.
So basically, where the snail was specially defensive and cut people's physical attack, this one's physically defensive and cuts people's special attack. That's essentially what you have to know. And it's a -1. Really, really good here. Let's go through these stats, Zero. We got this massive, holy cow, is this boy thick, 155 base HP, brother.
155, one of the highest HP stats in the game, bested only by Pokemon like Blissey. Just enormously thick, and because there's so much HP, it really gives you an opportunity to invest wherever you want, really, when it comes to the other three good stats we're going to talk about. There's so many ways that you can make TingLu.
Definitely. We have 110 physical attack, pretty respectable for a bruiser tank. A 125 phys def, so 10 less physical defense than the snail has special defense, but still respectable. Well, it still has 80 spec D, and the snail has 100 phys D on his weaker side. So this dude he's got more HP, but weaker on for his defenses. The snail can do mix attacking. This dude cannot. 55 special attack. That's a no-go. And then, surprisingly enough, Mr. Zero, 45 speed does not go for the snail of the bunch. It goes for this big, slow moose, deer, cow thing.
Yeah.
45 speed to round out for 570 total, as per the regular for all of the 4 Treasures of Ruin Pokemon.
I think part of the reasoning for that, from a design standpoint, was just the fact that it is so thick that you, like, from a balancing standpoint, have to be hit first.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a lot of attack. Like 110 is good, but
it's usable.
Scarlet
But it's not going to break the game.
No, not in Gen 9. That's definitely not breaking the game. So that's the trade-off. He hits you decently hard, so you kind of got to hit him first.
We're going to talk about this first set, and we're going to be splitting this guide up into one of these slides. Are going to be talking about the viability of the deer in singles, and the next slide is going to be talking about VGC and all the options there, because there's quite a bit of difference, I feel, especially out of these ruined Pokemon. This one is the most bifurcated between the two metas. Like, it really changes his utility and his viability and what he wants to bring to the table, what you want to bring on your deer, both in EV spread, items, move pool, etc., depending on if you're playing singles or doubles.
Yep, a true Jekyll and Hyde of a moose. Singles first?
Yeah, no, I love that comparison. Jekyll and Hyde of a moose. Absolutely. So yeah, singles, brother. Take it away, Zero. We obviously, Vessel of Ruin, that's going to be on both of them. But started off here, we have the Careful Nature and then your EV spread.
Yeah, so this one was kind of a specialty of mine. This is what I've been running in singles. Careful Nature, we're actually not investing in the HP in this set specifically because we are going so heavy into special defense. And mathematically, you get a little more special defense if you just go all out into that. And then the 152 defense was kind of just to round things out. The 100 attack is so if you don't take Heavy Slam, you can 2-hit KO Fluttermane. All the special defense helps you in the matchup against Fluttermane and then just other special attackers in general, which are pretty strong right now in VGC, with Fluttermane being one of the biggest and baddest special attackers, along with Golden Go. Got a few different options here for items. Honestly, you can get really creative with the items for this Pokemon. Leftovers, definitely an easy take. Citrus Berry. Assault Vest, we'll talk about that. That's more of the slash moves we have here. You could also go Rocky Helmet, which is another item that I've been running. Terra types, Fairy or Poison. Fairy, just overall, this is one of those Pokemon that really, really, really benefits from going Terra Fairy because you eliminate so many common weaknesses and turn some of your weaknesses into resistances. And then Terra Poison helps you not get broken down by poison.
Yeah, nice and thick. Don't want to get your stall canceled out by somebody toxicking you or poison spikes or whatever the case may be. Yeah, these moves are pretty interesting. So this guy, especially, this is basically your set that you've used. We featured on the channel. This is the Phaser. This is not anything new for us singles competitive masters of old. But yeah, we got the Stealth Rock Whirlwind set.
Stealth Rock, Whirlwind, you've seen it on Hippowdon. This is a Pokemon that does a really, really good job of that as well. And then Earthquake and Heavy Slam. Heavy Slam gives you the guaranteed one-hit KO on Fluttermane every single time. I mean, barring Terras. So that is a really nice tool to have. And TingLu is incredibly heavy. I think right now in the Pokedex, he's like top 3 in weight.
Yeah, he's very thick. Basically, the short version is this Heavy Slam does a lot to a tiny little wispy ghost that weighs nothing. So I think that's base 120 is what that turns out to.
Yeah, it's super, super strong. So now here's where the set gets a little fun. Assault Vest is, I think, like the second best, debatably, maybe even the best, I don't know, way to run this Pokemon.
So you'd be running Terra Blast and Ruination over Stealth Rock's Whirlwind, bro. So talk to us about both of these and why.
So obviously Terra Blast, when you Terra Fairy, that just kind of turns the table on some really strong physical attackers. Things like Annihilate, for example.
Yeah,
or...
it's almost like having Play Rough.
Exactly.
It's pretty legit having a nice Stab Fairy move at base 110 attack. And then Ruination, obviously all 4 get it, but it's worth noting, especially on these thick boys.
Yeah, Ruination is a really good way to kind of start chipping down something kind of bulky like a Rotom, something like that doesn't really have true recovery. Rotom Wash is incredibly powerful. You could, and maybe
Rotom Heat resist your Terra Blast, and obviously they have Levitate. They both resist the Heavy Slam, so yeah, Ruination is very, very necessary.
And then we never leave home without Earthquake, and obviously we just talked about the Heavy Slam. So I've run into this set before. The first time I ran into this, I had no answers. I got
it's so
absolute wrecked.
Yeah. In a straight up 1v1, it beats the Fluttermane.
Right, because that Moonblast from Fluttermane actually ends up becoming a 3-hit KO with this spread here and the Assault Vest.
Yep. So very, very strong. So Zero, you ready to flip this coin over? Let's talk about doubles. Let's talk about some VGC.
Oh, was the coin flip a segue because he has fissure?
Oh boy. So, yeah. Obviously, you can run it in singles. You do see it. Let's talk about it now. Do you see it in singles? Do you see fissure in singles?
Yes, I do. However,
not often.
Not often.
Okay.
I think we had a prediction that fissure was going to start falling off, and statistically, it is starting to fall off. So we're kind of seeing that die off once in a while. When it first came out, I got fissured by this Pokemon a lot.
Yep.
So when Regulation C started,
we're gonna talk about this, and then I'm gonna put a little bit extra salt on my French fries here, and then we're gonna have the rest of the meal is gonna be nice and enjoyable.
All right,
I'm not a big fan of fissure. Zero's not a big fan of fissure. It's not our preferred play style.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not. It's a luck based thing. It's not a skill based thing. We are analysts, so we have to talk about it. What does fissure do, Zero? For people that might not know.
Fissure is a 1-hit KO ground type move with a 30% accuracy. If you are hit by a fissure, you will be knocked out, barring having a focus sash, or if you run focus band like a madman and get that 10%, then maybe you'll live on a focus band.
Or sturdy?
You cannot 1-hit KO sturdy.
Oh, cool. Okay. So sturdy as well. Basically, this dude is really, really thick. So you just you make him really bulky. You put fissure on him, and it gives you multiple bites at that apple to launch fissure at your opponent and try to get lucky jackpot, lottery knockouts at that 30% accuracy. Yeah, that's essentially the playstyle, and it's not our preferred playstyle, but it does exist, and it's pretty much the reason that he is where he is in the usage stats, especially for VGC, in my personal opinion. This one's more of like the bruiser build, so this one we're actually doing max HP and max attack. Now, we did some calculations off screen, because we were curious about, is it worth investing any in HP and just doing all defenses, or invest in that huge HP? Where do you pay dividends? That inner spike. Let's chop these numbers up to the finest detail. And it turns out it's within about 6% damage difference. So for me personally, I like having the max HP because it makes you more well-rounded on the... allows you to be, well-rounded on both sides of your defense with AV still, and then allows you to have max attack in this set. So you're still the same level of tanky, but it gives you 252 EVs to put elsewhere. You can make him even tankier, or in this case, max out his offensive potential. So that's what I'm going to do here for VGC. That's actually what I like to do. You can absolutely run super tank and try to do the sub protect like we talked about, and just have the special attack shred of Vessel of Ruin and go for that longevity build. Definitely think that that's very viable. I think these two tanky pokes with the sub protect, obviously incredibly powerful. Being able to shred physical attack or special attack field wide for multiple turns allows your other pokes to live hits they otherwise wouldn't and be able to outduel their counterparts and get out of unfavorable matchups. It's very, very potent. I intentionally have fire, water, and grass here, Zero, because we already talked about the Terra types in singles, and I think that what you said about those Terra types, fairy and poison, are perfectly viable in doubles. So to add to that, we also want to talk about the 3 starter types, because for this deer, bro, holy cow. Fire's great, water's great, grass is great. Let's talk about them, Zero.
One of the fun things about this is, I think the defensive utility on these is almost a little bit better, knowing what the top 10 Pokemon are in those formats, because, there's extra utility here. Obviously, if you go Terra Fire, you are resisting Fluttermane Moonblast. If you go Terra Grass, you can't be Spored, you can't be Rage Powdered, so you're free to throw your Ruinations or your Fissures if you're a Madman or whatever into a slot freely. Then obviously Terra Water is just one of the, in my opinion, top 2 best Terras when you're like, what should I make this Pokemon? Can't really think of anything. Okay, Terra Water.
It's a good neutral ground for being tanky. It's a very good defensive single typing. All three are, actually, for reasons in this meta. But yeah, the water gives you that really key resistance to popular things in the meta, like water and ice that people might be throwing at you because you're part ground, and nobody's going to be throwing an electric attack at you because you're part ground. So, you know what I mean? So, Terra Water's a nice slot too, and like you already mentioned with the Fire Burn and the Grass with the Spore and Leech Seed shenanigans. Stomping Tantrum, Ruination or Fissure, depending on whether or not you have a different playstyle. Heavy Slam or Substitute, again. Are you going for the AV set or more of the tanky, Citrus Lefties kind of set, right? And then Terra Blast or Rock Slide are both really, really good options, especially in doubles. Rock Slide gives you that good spread move. And then obviously Protect is always, always valuable, depending on what you're set. Obviously AV, no Protect there, hence all the slashes. What do you think, Zero?
So while we're talking about the moves, here's where the biggest logical reasoning for Fissure comes in, because obviously Stomping Tantrum is a ground type move that doubles in power if you missed an attack the turn before.
Yeah.
So that's where the logic comes in.
But Rock Slide also can miss, and you're getting 2 bites, and oftentimes at least one of those Rock Slides will miss. It's pretty common.
True.
So I just want to point out that you can still get a similar tech without having to run Fissure.
Right.
Just a preference thing.
Yeah, Fissure not my thing either. However, I do see.
Yes, it is worth talking about
VGC,
from an analytical standpoint because it's high usage.
Yeah, in VGC more than anything, I understand the Fissure.
Yes, 100%. That's pretty much it for the 2 sets, Zero. Let's go over as usual, and we'll finish this up on Peakalytics. So right now for VGC on the Switch, as the time of this recording, which will be May 5th. We have TingLu at number 3 for VGC, bro. Really, really high usage. And we do actually see a 61% in that EQ. So, again, maybe that's a flavor thing. For me personally, I'm not going to invest in the EQ, but some people have been. So, that's worthwhile. They've been pairing it with the Flutter main, making her even more specially defensive. Amoonguss, even more specially defensive. Dragonite, making him very tanky. Arcanine, so then we have special defense and physical defense because of the Intimidate. Very, very fun stuff. And again, like Zero said, Poison coming out 34%. And then Ground is actually 25-0. And then Water, Fire, Grass, and Fairy. Everything we talked about here. Assault Vest, number 1 item, sir.
Yep. So, we're not just spouting nonsense here, guys. we're giving you some legit guides. Drop a like. Drop a subscribe.
And then for singles, Homeboy dropped a little bit, but he is down in 5th place now. Earthquake, number 1 at 92. Ruination, 81. And then there's the boy right there. There's Zero set. Stealth Rock and Whirlwind. Other than Heavy Slam,
moves,
which
right
is at
there.
16%. It is there. So that's just some tech that we like. And then Terra Fairy, Terra Poison. That's that Zero's spot on. And look at Citrus, Assault Vest, Lefties. So pretty spot on, sir. You impressed me. Another week, another set guide. You spot on. Very, very, very cool stuff. Were you impressed about the how close the stats were when we did our calcs?
I was, actually.
Did you think it'd be a bigger differential?
I did. It also depends, you know what I mean, like on the Pokemon.
Correct. It definitely depends on the Pokemon. If you have a low base HP, it's better to just go based into your defenses. If you have a high base HP, you're getting more for your value. Every point that you spend, every EV point that you spend. So, Zero. As usual, we thank all of the PMC members. Hit that subscribe button if you stayed this long to the end of the video. Make sure you smash that thumbs up. It really does help for the YouTube algorithm. We appreciate it. It's pesky, but that's the world that we live in. Until next time, I've been Gym Leader Justin.
And I'm Zero.
Council's adjourned.